Welcome, everyone. Today is September the 22nd, 2023. And guess what? Today we have this very special guest, and it is the autumn equinox. And we're now into Libra. And for those of you that know me, those of you that don't, I'm Sandra Alexei Morin. I have a website underneath. It's called My Personal Muse. You can go and you can check it out. It tells you everything that I do. And I'm actually a spiritual and business coach. I'm an educator, an author, and an astrologer. So I'm always about self-discovery, do a lot of soul intuitive work, and help you to discover your purpose and what's happening with your life. Now, if you go to my website, on the very bottom, you'll see the different books I've authored. And if you go to the top right, you'll see Game Changer. It's the last one, and it's the new model of relationships, very Aquarian. Okay, now I want to thank you for taking the time, okay, because I know everybody's time is important. I also want to say I'd appreciate it if you would I'd appreciate it if you would do a comment, and if you would share, and if you would subscribe to the channel. So now, this is not about me. This is our special guest who I met through the ethers. I'm very lucky. Okay, this is Anov, and I hope that I have pronounced it right. She's from England. Very, very a powerful woman. Two different parts to her. Her healing and everything that she's going to talk about is very good. So I've asked her first to explain how she got to do what she is, and what she does is absolutely phenomenal. And we will share all the links in the hashtags so that you can get a hold of her. Okay, go ahead. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandra. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm so excited to share a little bit of what I do and how I do with your listeners and the world. Yes. So maybe I'll get started, tell you a little bit. At the moment, what I call myself is empowerment coach and energy healer. And the modalities that I use are called the emotion code and body code. I will explain a little bit more about them in a little bit. But I want to share first how I got there, because to me, that's, it's an interesting story in itself, I guess. A long time ago, I was working in IT. I was a user experience designer, working with websites and making them easier to use. I loved it. It was absolutely a job that I really liked. But then one day I felt that it wasn't giving me the satisfaction anymore, the satisfaction that I used to have. And I just decided that I wanted to become a coach. I don't know where it came from. I didn't have a coach. I didn't really know much about it. But I jumped ship and I went to do my coaching course. In the coaching course, I also learned about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Right. And then I was there was a demonstration of the mind-body connection. My teachers brought one of my peers who had chronic pain in the neck for about 14 years. And really by asking her what was happening at the time when it started, what was their emotion? What are their emotions now? Just by going backwards and forward about the emotions, they managed to, in 2 hours, reduce her pain from 7 out of 10 to practically nothing. And for me, I was mind blown. I was like, how is no one talking about this? This is so amazing. I was so connected with this notion of there was pain and there was nothing. And the pain never came back, I must say. It was a permanently released pain. And so when I finished my courses, my training, I went out there and I was like, I want to do this. Let me heal. I was so excited about it. And so I joined some Facebook groups, and I don't exactly know what exactly I said, but I managed to make some people really angry really quickly. And I learned two really important things. First of all, I learned that I have to be always super careful about the words that I was using. And the second thing was that sometimes people are just too attached to the illness or the pain or the problem, not because they don't want to be better, but because of the journey that they've been through already with the pain or illness, and also because of their identity. The pain and the illness became a part of their identity, and they didn't even know who they would be without it. And one woman said to me, well, it took me years to convince my families and my doctors that I have this problem, and now you're telling me that you can take it away. So she was definitely not ready. And then I also recognized that I wasn't ready to deal with the enormity of how people were feeling. And so I ran away. And then I really invested myself in the confidence and empowerment coaching arena. And what I was mostly talking about was our negative voice, really helping people to see when they were operating from fears and limitations versus when they were operating from empowerment and expansion and alignment. And I was doing that for a long time until one day the universe gave me a client that had chronic pain of 9 to 10 out of 10 constantly. He was practically suicidal. He couldn't sit, he couldn't stand, he couldn't walk, he couldn't sleep, he couldn't do anything, just pain all the time. And just by talking, just by exploring the emotions, just by looking at the traumas and the rage and everything that he was blocking inside of him, already after the first session, he reduced his pain by 20%, which is huge considering how long he's been suffering for, with this level of pain. And then in no time, we managed to bring it down to a 3 out of 10. I mean, in the next couple of sessions, and then reduce the pain completely, or release the pain completely after more sessions. And to me, that just brought back that passion and connection I had with this mind-body connection, and understanding that unless your pain is acute, then it's chronic. And when it's chronic, most of the time, or maybe all of the time, the physical pain has an emotional root cause. And it doesn't mean that the pain is in your head, and it doesn't mean that it's not real, or that you've made it up, or that you're mad. It's not at all. It just means that your brain is basically saying, I've been trying to tell you about the emotions and the fears and the traumas for such a long time. And every time I bring it up, you ignore me. And I need you to listen to the message. And so now I'm just going to give you a physical pain, which you can't ignore. So now we listen to the message, or at least now we notice the message. But the problem is that a lot of the time we don't know what to do with it. And so this is kind of where I come in.
You know, it's really funny. I just want to interrupt here. It's funny because since 2020, I had 2 car accidents. Now I know why I found you. Okay. I had 2 car accidents. I was going through some stuff, and I had a really bad, hip. Okay, it was my hip, my leg, just a lot of things. Okay, so within two weeks, 2 car accidents hit the same fender. So of course, a lot of it went through my insurance company. Well, I got so bad. I'm going to cut it really short. I got so bad that within about a year, I was walking with a cane, and I couldn't put my sock on. My son had to put it on. But I have had a near-death experience. So when I know what it's like, because I was told I'd be in a wheelchair in '88. So I knew there was something that I needed to figure out with the mind-body thing. And so it's really funny. I went through all of these. Actually, it was like 42 different treatments with different physiotherapists. And then I had many different massages. I had needling. I had everything. And it finally started to get better. But then they gave me this nerve thing, this painkiller for nerve, which was not a good thing. Okay. So now I ended up moving from where I was living down here. And I was starting to get better, except I still had a lot of pain. Okay. And my son said to me, Mother, you have to go and see this man. Okay. And I think that's when I met you, because that's what connected me with somebody like you here. Mm-hmm. And so I went, and so he said, so I had them send the 42 different things over to him. He said, I don't want to look at them right now. He said, what I want to do is, he said, give me your phone and let me take a picture of your back. Of my back. I lifted it up, and he said, well, it's a good thing you come to see me, because you'd be having a hip replacement in about approximately 2 years. And he said, so we're going to do some needling. So he put me down and he goes, oh, your poor knee. And I'm thinking, my knee? Okay, it was on that side. Okay. Honestly, and he knows some of the doctors I know, like he taught at a university. Dr. Ong was one of the people that really worked with me, and an Ayurvedic medicine. So I went to the Chinese and the Ayurvedic. I pulled away from the allopathic medicine, okay, years ago. And so the bottom line is I've had 3 treatments. And I went in, and he gave me 3 treatments. I can't use any Dr. Home machine. I got 3 very simple exercises that I have to do. That's it. Because he said he was rewiring my brain and my body. So that's like the connection that you're talking about. So I went for my 3rd treatment. He goes, I don't believe you. Look at you. He said, I don't need to see you. I'd like to check on you in a month. And I said, I call them earth angels, and I call you an earth angel, because to be honest with you, people say that I can be pretty outspoken, and I am. I'm sick and tired of the healers, the spiritual whitewashing, the spiritual bypassing, whatever. We need to be able to have results. Okay. And I think that's why listening to you, I listened to you, and the very first thing about you, like at first it took me a while to tune into what you were saying, because what I was looking at was your aura and your whole sense of being. Like there's this depth of strength, there's this depth of intuition, there's this depth of empathy, but the gentleness, like there was so many things, and I've never had that happen to me. It was just like your whole being at first. There was like a radiation. I don't see auras, I feel them. And then I started listening to you, and it was like, oh my God, I know so many people that are struggling. And right now, what we've all gone through is a lot of cognitive dissonance, a lot of fear. Okay. And so people are blocked and they're locked, and they're also locked. And I taught for years in school, and I realized that because of the way the education system is, by the time they hit grade 10 and 11, they could not read. So they were angry. They were angry because they could not understand what was being taught. So right now, there's just a mass of healing that needs to be done. There's so much fear. We never know what's going to happen tomorrow. But I've been writing about this since 2008, and I've seen it all coming. And I just said it's all going to be wiped out, because we have to start anew. And it's like, I believe that's what you can do. So now I'm going to shut up, because everybody knows I get very excited, and I'm just very excited to be able to introduce you. And what I will do is I will put your video up. It goes on the YouTube, but I personally send it to a lot of people, and they will share it. They're also the healers in that. That's kind of like we work in a group session, like because we're all here for the main purpose. And anybody that's not, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. We reach who we're supposed to, and I've got a lot of people already on the list of names to do it. So now I'm going to be quiet. Now everybody knows why I'm so excited, okay, about this interview, and why it's so powerful right now with our equinox of today. But also we have like 5 or 6. I'm going to be writing about the moon that's coming up, the Aries moon on the 29th. Then we have the eclipses, and it's very powerful because there's the retrograde planets, and so everybody's being held back, because they're being asked to look at what's stopping them from moving ahead. Okay, and so this is prime time for you. Okay, I'm going to shut up for Prune. Okay, now go ahead. That's it.
Thank you. No, thank you for sharing all of this. It is really fascinating. I think when you talk about people that feel stuck, that's for me that's a real. It's kind of when people come to me and they say that they feel stuck, I'm feeling excited because I know that they recognize that they've been doing the same thing again and again, and it's not giving them the results that they want. And so now they're really open to finding out new things, to learning about new tools or new ideas or new concepts that really will help them to move forward. And so this is really what I do now. I just finished the what I was saying earlier about that one client that came to me and reduced his chronic pain from 9 to 0. As I was walking with him, I found out about these healing modalities of the emotion code and body code. And these modalities really resonated with me because it's working with the subconscious mind. And that's what I was doing when I was talking about the, empowerment and confidence and empowerment coaching. And I knew that this was, I had to become certified in that. And so both of these modalities, they are based on the idea that we are all energy. And as such, every emotional event or trauma that we can't process, the energy of the emotion become trapped in our energy field. And because every emotion has a size and a shape, it's actually literally causing us, discomfort and pain and feeling of misalignment with our lives. And so what I do with the emotion and the body code, I connect with the person's subconscious mind. And I say, what is the underlying cause of this illness or ailment or pain or whatever it is that they come to me with? And then we start clearing it. So people say to me, oh, I have whatever the diagnosis is, but I don't need to know the diagnosis. I just need to see from the connection with the subconscious mind that there are blockages. And then I know that the subconscious mind is giving me the most important blockages, that when I release it, the person feels a difference, a change. Now, I, at the beginning, was just doing the coaching. And then after I became certified, I only did the healing. And in both of these, I felt that there was something missing. And then I decided to merge these two together. So most of the time, what I do is I work with people in 2 hours sessions. The first hour is the coaching. It's empowerment coaching. It's where I help people really recognize, like I said before, where they are operating from fears. That's why they're stuck, and where they're operating from expansion and alignment. And a lot of the time, well, I think it was Einstein that said, you can't fix a problem with the same head that created it.
Right.
And so this is the thing that people say, well, I feel stuck. I know that once upon a time, life was easy, life was brilliant, but now it's not like that anymore. And so in the conversation that we are having, we are able to go back to understanding, when did you lose your compass? When did you move away from your values? When did you become, convinced, or when did you start believing that other people's opinions and what they do is more important than than what you bring with you? So we look at all of these things, and slowly people start to see really when they're listening to the soul versus when they're listening to the negative voice. And slowly they're able to start claiming this, new empowerment. This, they just know. And so the transformation is incredible. And sometimes I feel the conversations are still even more important than the healing, because when you understand the emotional root cause that causes the physical pain, and you are able to release that, the pain disappears. So we do 1 hour of conversations, and then I do 1 hour of healing. And sometimes it's, if someone can come to me with back pain, for example, and we can do working on back pain every time, or it can say, actually, today we're working on back pain, but next time it's about, feeling, maybe low energy, or maybe it's about money, or whatever it is, because the problems, it's all about, like I said, the blockages of our energy field, and it's all energy. And as we are releasing things, the people, we basically go back to a better version of ourselves. So,
right. So, and you can do this online. You don't need to, I don't need to be with you to have it done.
No, you don't. And also, I also work on animals and babies and people who really can't get to the computer. So I can also do it on your behalf. So I'll say, oh, give me permission to work on you on Monday at 3. and then I connect with you, and then afterwards I send you the report of everything that I found. So
do you know who used to do that? Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet.
I don't think I've heard of him.
Oh yeah. And then there's a girl out of Carolyn Mize out of New York, where she can get on the phone and she can do healing on the phone. Okay, so you've tuned into your gift. This is totally your gift, and everybody has their own personal gift. And the thing that I know now why I met you at this particular time, because on July 23rd of 2023 until January 11th of 2020, it's 18 months. There's two things that are happening. Everybody's been, I need to be nice to everybody. I need to help everybody. I need to be good. And it's just a minute, but just what about you? So you remember you said it's what about you? So right now, what's happening is people are letting go of that kind of mentality. And they're saying, but what about me? Okay, and so now they're having the courage to be authentic, to speak their truth and everything. So this right now is perfect timing. You also do, if somebody wants to call you or Zoom you, or I don't know how you do, if you want to tell, we're going to put the website and how they can contact you, but do you have like maybe a 15-minute kind of talk that you can talk to them first before they can actually make the appointment? And then how do they pay you? Probably with PayPal.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so I definitely offer a discovery call or a connection call, because it's really important that we connect. You know,
Right.
if one of us feel that the connection is off, it's not going to work. So the discovery call or connection call is really important. And in that call, I always ask people to tell me a little bit about what they're experiencing, and you know, if it's the physical pain or the emotional or the spiritual, whatever it is, I ask them to
Right.
to share it with me, and then we're just having a little bit of a conversation. Sometimes I might already give them some ideas to think about in the conversation, and sometimes it really is about, this is, you know, they tell me what they feel and I say, this is how I work with you, and then they say, okay, you know, we can let's put a date in the calendar. The discovery call, people can go onto my website and there is many opportunities there to book a call. If they were after the conversation, yeah, they can pay with PayPal or Stripe, or I use Wise mostly for bank transfer, but the methods are easy to find. There's a lot of flexibility, but there's also, you know, I don't anymore do one-off sessions most of the time, because I know that the subconscious mind will first of all release the most important thing, but sometimes the real root cause will be maybe 3 or 4 sessions in. So now I do 8 sessions is my average that I work with people. And the really interesting thing is, you know, I had someone with psoriasis, for example, one client,
Right.
and she's been suffering from psoriasis for many years. It's since she was a kid, really. And she's been, you know, coming and going, and sometimes it's a little bit better, but mostly it's a little bit worse. And she was spending so much money and energy on functional doctors and pills and things that are actually, you know, not really healthy for you to take.
Right.
And for us, after 8 sessions, you know, she says to me, the psoriasis is 90% gone. You know, it's like she's never had 90% of the psoriasis gone before. And it's really because, you know, it's this empowerment, this courage that she now has to look at life and see, this is where I've been compromising until now. This is where I've been giving so much attention and importance to something that is not mine. It's not important to me, but maybe it was important to my parents, or maybe it was important to my community, and I believed that I needed to do it as well. But actually now I see that I don't. So it is really talking about myself, but also in a way that is, you know, not that I'm putting myself first in an arrogant way, or not that I'm no longer caring about other people, but it's about recognizing, where do I how do I get back into this, you know, this is what aligns with me versus, you know, am I people pleasing, or am I conflict avoiding, or am I putting your needs ahead of mine and really basically not seeing myself at all?
You have no idea how prevalent this is at this particular time, because I told you about, like, it's not about everybody else's needs. And when people say, and I always say, you know what, I think of going on an airplane. The very first thing they say when you sit in the seat, if you've got your child with you, what do? You put the mask on you first. Okay. Another thing, though, the book that I wrote, Game Changer, it was that we're moving out of the Piscean, which is more of the codependency, because it's very gentle. So it's codependence, into the Aquarian, which is like, and Pluto's going in there, and Pluto's all about transformation. It hits there in 2024, and it's there for 20 years. But what that is nobody's a host, nobody's a parasite. Everybody is a whole being, and they can take on their wholeness without feeling guilty. Okay. And I think a lot of people, they stay in the victim stance because that's the way they get attention. And it's not a good way. They don't know any better. That's just it. It's not that they're bad. There's no bad, there's no good. There just is. It's about what is your level of consciousness. And right now we're moving through the ascension process. Right now, that's what everybody's going through. We're into the 5th already. And all of this stuff is happening in the world. So I think this is probably, but it's interesting that what I find fascinating is that just one day you knew, you loved what you were doing, but it was like you were aligned with spirit, and just spirit just said, it's time for me to move on. So it was time for you to move on because you needed to learn all of this stuff and feel really comfortable and become the healer in order to embrace this particular time. Does that make kind of sense?
I believe that. If things happen when they happen, you know, everything has a time, everything has a place. I believe in that. And so sometimes when people say, you know, they get so connected to the pain in their lives, and then they become resentful. And I always say everything happens and everything has a gift in it. And also when you understand the gift, you no longer need to feel resentful towards the event or whatever happened, because you understand why it needed to happen in the way that it had. And so this is really part of the empowerment conversations, because that's what I want to do. I want to let people release the sense of, you know, being a victim. I want them to understand that everything is moving them forward. And when they are connecting with who they are, with their alignment and their harmony, nothing can get to them. All of the ailment and the pain and all of that will go away, will actually fall off, because it's no longer, you know, trying to give you a message. So it's all part of the conversation. It's a fascinating conversation to have, to understand where is the pain, how is the pain, you know, what happened when the pain came up. All of these things, people live in such stressful lives, and they don't even understand that they're going through stress. They're so used to that, in a sense.
Well, and especially now, there's so much cognitive dissonance. So people, they can't understand it. It's like I would be showing them this cup. Like if somebody has dementia, my dad did. And so they had us do this little thing. So I would put up a cup or a toothbrush. Okay. But what he was hearing, okay, on a tape was like, he didn't understand it, because I would lay them down and he didn't know. He only knew it when I laid them down. He could see it then, but he couldn't understand what it was. So if I put this up and showed it, then he'd go, cup. Or if I put a pen up, it was. But if I was just to say to him, a cup or a pen, he didn't know. And so it's all in, it's how we're perceiving what people are going through. What can they see? Some people don't want to see, you know, they have a hard time accepting the truth and the facts about different things. But we've been pushed to the limit now to be able to take the rose-colored glasses off the head, out of the sand, and to become who we're supposed to be. It's like on my website, I have we're in the cryolis and we are to become free like a butterfly. That's the freedom. So they're getting the freedom from the pain to be able to really enjoy life and become who they are and do what they want to do. You know?
Exactly. I mean, I have all these conversations with people when, what I was saying earlier, you know, they think about what will other people say, and they compare themselves to others, and they compare themselves to a version of themselves that hasn't happened yet, and they're constantly, you know, in misery because they're never good enough. And then I ask, but what do you want to do? You know, or you know, because I sometimes say that I feel like our parents, you know, they needed to be kind of to mess us up so that at some point when we're trying to rebel, we will actually find who we're really meant to be. So we are able to let go of all of these conditionings and all of these, you know, other people's opinions and fears and limitations, so that we find our own way. And when we do, when we give ourselves permission to be limitless, to be really aligned and do what feels right to us, we become free. We become exactly what we were meant to be.
Yeah, I think we're like shining stars. And at that point, when somebody says, I want you to do this, or I think you've got to do this, or whatever, it's like, no, you got to know. It's like, because I'm claircognizant. So when I go, no, that doesn't work for me. And then people will get upset, but it's supposed to. No, you know, it's to be able to, I always say it's the 8. So we turn in with we align with the top part of our non-physical. And so we align the physical body, the bottom of the 8, with the top. Okay. And I believe that you have the gift to take the person through that whole shift of that 8, because 8's the only number that is totally enclosed, and 8's the number of power. So that's where it's the empowerment through freeing what has been the congestion and what has been blocked and everything. So I think it's a great gift. Anyway, so if you want to, I'm going to say to them, I'm going to put, when the video goes up, there will be your email and everything, and then they can go online and they can find out how they can contact you to get a session. Okay. And so I just want to say, these are the ones that I want to put up. I want to put up Untangledhealing and your name, and that you're a healer, you're an empowerment coach. And Untangled is your website, Energy Healer, and then and the links, and then they can get it. And so I think that's good. And so if there's anything you'd like to finish off saying, or any more you'd like to say, I'm just excited to share this with people so that they can connect with you, because it's time. It's time people started to, we've gone through enough, and we're going through enough. And so we're getting nailed like this by the universe and things. And it's like, okay, one day you just say, okay, I can't do this anymore, or I choose not to do this anymore.
Right, exactly. You see, because I really believe that there is the, you know, the white coat syndrome, and people go to the doctor and the doctor say, right, you've got this, and I'm sorry, I don't know what it is, or there is no cure, or, you know, basically you have 3 days to live. And people, they believe this thing, and all of a sudden, you know, they lose their whole life. But what I'm saying is that, you know, okay, there is a message. I'm not talking about acute pain, of course, then please do go to the doctor. Yeah. I'm talking about the chronic pain, the unexplained medical conditions. Let's have this conversation. Let's see how the emotions are connected here. Let's go and understand the trauma and the fears and the limitations and everywhere that you've moved so far away from your values and the things that are important to you. Let's have this conversation, and then let's see how you feel. I mean, I had a client that released her fibromyalgia after 5 sessions, because she was open to say, I don't want the diagnosis, I don't want the pain, I don't want the all of this. So she dared to come and have a session, 5 sessions, and she doesn't have it anymore. But find me a doctor that will say, yes, you can cure fibromyalgia. They all say it's incurable, but you can. So what I really want to bring to people is the hope, to just think that about the alternative methods. I know, as you said at the beginning, some people promise you things and they can't do it, but there's other people that can.
And
So
that's why I'm here. I want everybody to know, because everybody knows how I can be tough. I can be very truthful, but nobody needs to tell me. I've had a near-death experience. They told me I would be in a wheelchair in 5 years, and I'm sitting here. And even the doctor said, Sandra, I said, you shut up. In 1 year, he's the one that signed my papers to go back. Okay. And it was all, that's when I did the Oriental medicine, the, what do you call them? Ayurvedic medicine. I went totally away from the other. And so I know, and this is why I'm so passionate about sharing you with it, because I've been there. And I mean, I have issues with doctors sometimes, and I just say to them, that's not very good. I don't like what you're saying, because I said, you know what, you took an oath, and I go, and karma's going to get you because you're not following the Hippocratic oath. It's about being really honest. It's not about what they're putting in their pocket at that specific time. And I'm not saying that's everybody, but I mean, let's be real. It doesn't matter what area of life you're in. Okay. And I have to laugh because I said there's been a lot of corruption, a lot of deceit, a lot of power, control over. So everybody can look at the government and they can point out there and always say, hey, look in the mirror. What's going on with you? Because I think there's a lot of indifference right now. And for me, it's like, as long as I'm safe and I got my little thing and I got my pension and I'm all right, but I'm not like that. I could walk away from anything, because to me, it's about, that's what I'm like with you. Like, I watch away from a lot of stuff. It's just like to help people to find I call it their personal power, to discover. It's self-discovery for me. Who are they and what are their gifts? And once they have their gifts, and I mean, I'm going to be 76, maybe I'm going to be 77, I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. Everybody goes, you retire. Retire from what? I mean, sometimes I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm working and I'm doing stuff. I'm happy. I love my life. And now it's really good because I don't have the pain anymore. And that was a driver for me. And as I said to him, you brought me to Medicine Hat, I told him. And once I got here and I went through it, then I found you online. And like I said, the very first thing was your whole being. And so I want to thank you for coming. And if you just want to say, kind of end it for them, and that's it. And then we're done.
Yes, thank you. Really, thank you for the opportunity to come and be here with you. It's been a wonderful experience. For anyone listening, I just want to say, I guess Western medicine, they only ever tell you what they found out. They had a case and then they can say, now I can say it's this way or that way. But when I talk about healing without medicine, it's really about connecting with your powers, connecting with your emotions, connecting with who you're meant to be, and giving you the platform and the push even to have the courage to really honor that. And when you do this, all of the pain and all of the things that are not needed anymore, they just fall by the wayside, because the pain that you're feeling when it's chronic, it's here to give you a message. So when you hear the message, when you understand where you were going wrong, then when you release it and the pain disappears. So please go out there and have the courage to have conversations, with people like me that are really here to help you get to the best version of yourself.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for taking your time. And I hope that something resonated with you, because I get very excited. And now I'm going to say goodbye, and I need to make sure that I stop this correctly.